Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something deeply personal yet universally grounding the simple, powerful practice of giving God the start of your day. It's about starting from a place of gratitude and purpose before life's to-do list even begins. In the hustle of life, we often let our mornings get swept away by obligations and distractions before we're even fully awake. But what if we took a moment, just one sacred moment, to center ourselves and acknowledge what is true, lasting, and life-giving? Starting your day with connection, not perfection, is a powerful shift in mindset that invites more grace, compassion, and authenticity into your life. In our modern world, it's easy to feel pressure to get it all right from the moment we wake up. Whether it's checking our phones for notifications, reviewing a list of tasks, or jumping into the rush of responsibilities, so many of us begin the day with an underlying need to be productive and to meet our own or others' expectations flawlessly. But this focus on perfection often means we bypass what truly matters: our inner connection to ourselves, to others, and to something larger than ourselves. By starting the day rooted in connection, we give ourselves a chance to be more grounded, intentional, and present. This shift allows us to live more fully and authentically rather than chasing an image of what we think we should be. When we strive for perfection, we're often trying to control things. We want every part of our morning to go smoothly, from getting ready to how our work unfolds to the way our relationships feel. And if something doesn't go as planned, we might feel frustrated, anxious, or even defeated. Perfectionism sets up a false expectation that everything must align just so for us to feel at peace. But peace doesn't come from everything lining up perfectly. It comes from accepting ourselves and our circumstances as they are and choosing to stay connected in the midst of them. Starting with connection instead of perfection shifts the emphasis from what do I need to do to how do I want to be. It's about pausing, taking a breath, and acknowledging that you are enough just as you are, regardless of the day's demands. Connection invites us to meet ourselves with gentleness before we step out into the world. It's a reminder that our worth is inherent, not tied to our achievements or how smoothly our day goes. Perfection, on the other hand, often keeps us trapped in a loop of constant evaluation. Am I doing this well enough? Did I get everything done? Perfection is a moving target and one that we rarely, if ever, feel satisfied in reaching. When we focus on connection, we're choosing presence over performance. This presence can look different for everyone. For some, it might mean starting the day with a few moments of prayer, meditation, or reflection, something that centers them before the busyness begins. For others, it could be simply sitting in silence, savoring a cup of coffee, or stepping outside for a breath of fresh air. It's about creating a space, however small, where we can come back to ourselves and remember what's most important. Connection helps us tap into a sense of purpose that goes beyond our to-do list. When we start with connection, we're setting an intention to approach our day with authenticity rather than performing or conforming. In connecting with ourselves first, we're more likely to bring a true, whole version of ourselves to others, fostering relationships based on genuine understanding and mutual respect. When we lead with connection, our interactions with others aren't driven by how they make us feel about ourselves, but by a real desire to understand and be understood. We're more present, more patient, and more willing to listen without judgment, because we've given ourselves that gift first thing in the morning. Perfectionism can also rob us of joy. When we're so focused on doing things right, we can miss the beauty of life happening around us. We might skip over moments of delight because we're too busy measuring ourselves against an impossible standard. But starting with connection opens us up to the small, simple pleasures that make each day meaningful. When we're connected, we notice the warmth of the sun, the comfort of a familiar sound, or the kindness of a friend. These moments don't add up to a perfect day, but they create a fulfilling one. They root us in gratitude and help us see that life is more than a checklist. When we begin with connection, we're also building resilience. A connected mindset equips us to handle the challenges that inevitably come our way. When we're centered in connection, we don't need to avoid failure or setbacks. Instead, we can face them with curiosity and openness. If something goes wrong, it doesn't shatter our sense of self-worth because we know that we're already enough. This sense of security and self-compassion allows us to approach life with flexibility and resilience instead of fear and control. Perfectionism is often tied to a fear of vulnerability. We're afraid of being seen as less than or of disappointing others, so we try to hide behind an image of competence and flawlessness. But connection invites us to embrace vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. When we start the day with connection, we give ourselves permission to show up fully, even if that means being imperfect. We don't have to mask our feelings or hide our struggles. We can be real. And when we're real with ourselves first, it becomes easier to be real with others. This openness can lead to deeper, more meaningful relationships as people sense that we're being authentic and feel invited to do the same. Connection is also freeing. When we let go of perfection and embrace connection, we're free from the constant pressure to measure up. We don't need to chase the ideal morning routine, the perfect day, or the right choices. Instead, we allow ourselves to simply be. We move through the day with a sense of ease and grace, knowing that mistakes and imperfections are part of being human. And this freedom isn't just a relief, it's empowering. It gives us the courage to try new things, take risks, and grow in ways we might not if we were still clinging to perfection. Choosing connection over perfection is a daily practice. It won't be perfect, and that's the point. Some mornings we may still get caught up in the rush or find ourselves chasing an ideal. But each day gives us a new opportunity to return to that place of connection, to start again, and to remind ourselves that we are enough just as we are. Grounding yourself in gratitude before you face the day is a powerful practice that can shape not only how your morning unfolds, but also how you perceive and engage with the world around you. In our fast-paced lives, mornings often become an anxious scramble filled with lists, deadlines, and worries about the day ahead. But when we choose to start from a place of gratitude, we're grounding ourselves in a mindset of abundance, resilience, and joy that can carry us through even the most challenging moments. Gratitude is a way of slowing down to savor what's present instead of being consumed by what's next. It allows us to anchor our sense of well-being in the richness of what already exists, making space for inner peace regardless of external pressures. Starting your day with gratitude isn't about ignoring your responsibilities or downplaying your struggles. It's about creating a foundation for the day that affirms the good in your life before the noise of the world begins to seep in. Many of us begin the morning by reaching for our phones, diving straight into emails, notifications, and tasks, but this habit can set a reactive tone for the day. In contrast, when you pause to appreciate the gifts already surrounding you, you establish a positive foundation that helps you respond to challenges from a place of strength rather than anxiety. This is why a morning practice of gratitude can be so transformative. It's a conscious choice to acknowledge what's right with the world before focusing on what's wrong. Gratitude in the morning can take many forms. For some, it may mean listing 3 things they're thankful for, either mentally or in a journal. For others, it could be savoring the first sip of coffee and appreciating the warmth, taste, and comfort it brings. It might even be as simple as acknowledging the quiet, peaceful moment before the day truly begins. These practices don't require grand gestures or big changes. They're about small, intentional moments of reflection that ground you in the present. Each act of gratitude, no matter how small, is a reminder of the richness and beauty in life. It keeps us from overlooking the small blessings that are easily taken for granted. When we ground ourselves in gratitude, we also shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance. The pressures of life often make us focus on what's missing, what we lack, or what we feel we need to fix in ourselves or others. But gratitude reorients us, helping us to see the abundance that already exists within us and around us. By appreciating the things we already have, we're reminded that we are not starting from zero, we're building on a foundation of blessings and strengths that support us daily. This mindset of abundance empowers us to approach the day with confidence and contentment rather than constantly striving for more. Gratitude also fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable and many things in a day are outside our control. But gratitude anchors us in what's constant, providing a sense of stability that helps us navigate even the most chaotic situations. When we recognize the things we're grateful for, we're reminded of what we can lean on during times of stress. Gratitude becomes a resource that fortifies us, making it easier to face challenges without feeling overwhelmed. This resilience isn't just about staying positive, it's about finding strength in the good that exists, even when life feels uncertain. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is its ability to reduce stress and anxiety. Research has shown that gratitude can lower cortisol levels and improve mental health, allowing us to start the day with a sense of calm and centeredness. When we're grateful, we're less likely to get caught up in worries about the future or regrets about the past. Instead, we're grounded in the present, free to enjoy the moment as it is. This freedom from anxiety enables us to approach the day with clarity and focus, unburdened by the mental clutter that so often clouds our thinking. By starting the day with gratitude, we're giving ourselves the gift of a peaceful mind, a gift that stays with us throughout the day. Gratitude also opens the door to greater compassion, both for ourselves and for others. When we recognize and appreciate our own blessings, we become more aware of the good in others. It's as if gratitude removes a filter of judgment or comparison, allowing us to see people as they are and appreciate them without expecting them to fit a mold. And when we're compassionate toward others, our relationships become stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling. This compassion extends inward as well. When we start the day with gratitude, we're less likely to judge ourselves harshly or dwell on our imperfections. Gratitude helps us see ourselves as worthy and whole, reducing self-criticism and encouraging self-acceptance. Moreover, a morning gratitude practice brings a sense of joy that can infuse even mundane tasks. When we're grounded in gratitude, we're more likely to find joy in the ordinary. The commute becomes a chance to listen to a favorite song or podcast rather than simply a chore. Preparing breakfast turns into an opportunity to savor the flavors and aromas of food rather than just another item to check off the list. Gratitude brings richness to daily experiences, making even the most routine activities feel meaningful and worthwhile. This joy isn't fleeting, it's the kind of joy that sustains us and makes life feel full, no matter what our circumstances may be. Gratitude also helps us connect to a greater sense of purpose. When we start our day by acknowledging what we're thankful for, we're reminded of the reasons we do what we do. Our work, relationships, and responsibilities take on deeper meaning when we view them through a lens of appreciation. We see our tasks not just as obligations, but as opportunities to make a difference or serve others. This sense of purpose provides motivation and fulfillment that goes beyond any single accomplishment. It gives our day a direction rooted in something meaningful, which makes it easier to stay motivated and engaged even when challenges arise. Finally, grounding yourself in gratitude brings a profound sense of peace. It's a momentary pause that allows us to rest in the knowledge that in this moment we have everything we need. Gratitude tells us that we are already whole, that our lives are already filled with gifts, and that we are enough as we are. It's an antidote to the feeling of never enough that can so easily pervade our lives. When we start our day from this place of peace, we approach everything else work, relationships, goals from a place of sufficiency rather than striving. This peace isn't fragile, it's deeply rooted in the practice of appreciation, creating a calm and steady presence that we can carry with us through anything. Setting an intention, not an expectation as you start your day, is a gentle yet powerful way to approach life with openness, resilience, and purpose. Often we wake up with a mental list of expectations, consciously or unconsciously deciding that the day must go a certain way or that specific outcomes need to be achieved for us to feel satisfied. This approach, while common, can lead to stress, frustration, and even disappointment when things inevitably don't go as planned. Expectations are rigid, they establish fixed outcomes and conditions, creating a sense of pressure and control over how life should unfold. By contrast, setting an intention is about aligning with a guiding principle, a chosen mindset, or a value that resonates with you. It's an invitation to bring your true self into the day, to act from a place of authenticity rather than performance. Intentions are flexible and rooted in purpose, not outcomes. When we set an intention, we are less focused on making things perfect or ensuring that every task is completed flawlessly. Instead, we focus on how we want to be as we move through the day. Setting an intention might mean saying, today I will bring kindness to my interactions, or I intend to stay present and grateful no matter what arises. These intentions aren't tied to specific results. Rather, they're about the energy, mindset, or values we want to embody. This approach helps us create a sense of meaning that isn't dependent on external circumstances. We give ourselves permission to define the day by the qualities we bring to it, rather than by things we may or may not accomplish. Expectations, on the other hand, often set us up for disappointment and self-judgment. When we expect things to go a certain way, we attach ourselves to particular outcomes, believing that we need them to feel good, worthy, or successful. And when reality doesn't align with those expectations, as it often doesn't, we may feel like we failed or that the day hasn't gone as it should. Expectations can cause us to evaluate our experiences harshly and can even create a sense of resentment or frustration, either toward ourselves or toward others. This rigidity can close us off to life's natural flow, to the spontaneous opportunities and surprises that arise. Expectations are limiting. They put life in a box, defining what success or fulfillment looks like in narrow terms. Intention, on the other hand, is expansive. It allows room for whatever the day brings, inviting us to respond in ways that honor our values no matter what unfolds. When we set an intention, we're also grounding ourselves in the present rather than projecting into the future. Expectations are often future-oriented, focusing on what we want or need to happen later in the day or even farther down the line. This can lead to anxiety or impatience as we wait for those expectations to be fulfilled. But when we set an intention, we're choosing to focus on the here and now. Intention is rooted in the present moment. It's about how we want to show up right now, regardless of what comes next. This focus on the present can bring a sense of calm and clarity, freeing us from the mental clutter and stress that come from constantly anticipating and planning for the future. Setting an intention also fosters self-compassion and patience. Expectations often carry with them an implicit demand for perfection, a belief that we need to get everything right in order to be worthy or successful. This mindset can lead to harsh self-criticism when things don't go as planned. But intentions are gentler. They're not about getting it right or meeting certain standards. They're about staying true to our values and to who we want to be. When we set an intention, we're giving ourselves permission to approach the day with grace, acknowledging that it's okay to be imperfect. If we stray from our intention, we can simply return to it without judgment or guilt. This flexibility allows us to embrace the learning process, to accept that growth isn't linear, and that there's value in simply trying. Another powerful aspect of setting an intention is that it encourages adaptability. Expectations are rigid by nature. They resist change and leave little room for life's inevitable unpredictability. But intentions are adaptable. They allow us to flow with what comes our way, to pivot and respond to the unexpected without feeling that we've somehow fallen short. When we set an intention, we're cultivating an open mind and a resilient spirit. We're saying no matter what happens, I will respond in a way that aligns with my chosen values. This adaptability makes it easier to handle setbacks or challenges with grace. Instead of feeling derailed by changes, we're more equipped to respond mindfully, drawing on our intention as a steady guide. Intentions also deepen our relationships with others. When we set expectations for our interactions or the behavior of those around us, we may end up feeling disappointed or frustrated if people don't meet those expectations. Expectations can create a sense of distance and even resentment in our relationships as we evaluate others based on how well they conform to our idea of how things should be. But when we set an intention for our interactions, such as to listen deeply, to show empathy, or to be patient, we're more likely to approach others with openness and compassion. This intention allows us to see and accept people as they are without projecting our own needs onto them. It fosters understanding and kindness, creating an environment of trust and mutual respect. Setting an intention rather than an expectation can also be transformative for our self-image and personal growth. Expectations often create a narrow view of success, defined by specific achievements or external markers of progress. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy if we don't meet those benchmarks. But when we set an intention, we're defining success in a way that aligns with our deeper values and aspirations. Success becomes less about what we accomplish and more about the person we're becoming. This shift allows us to focus on our growth, our resilience, and our commitment to what truly matters rather than fixating on specific outcomes. It gives us a sense of purpose that goes beyond external validation, allowing us to feel fulfilled and grounded, even when things don't go according to plan. Finally, intentions bring a sense of freedom. Expectations can feel like weights, tying us to specific outcomes and creating a pressure to achieve them. This pressure can be exhausting, draining our energy and joy as we strive to meet sometimes unrealistic standards. But intentions are freeing. They invite us to be curious and open to what the day brings rather than controlled by the need for certain results. When we set an intention, we're freeing ourselves from the burden of having to control everything. We're choosing to trust the process, to honor the journey, and to let go of the rigid shoulds that often limit our joy. This freedom to simply be, to align with our values, and to let life unfold naturally is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. It empowers us to move through life with peace, purpose, and an unwavering sense of self. Allowing room for divine guidance is a practice of opening ourselves up to wisdom and direction that goes beyond our own understanding. It's about creating space in our lives for something larger than ourselves to intervene, guide, and inspire us, especially in moments of uncertainty or confusion. While many of us spend our days making decisions based on logic, emotion, or what seems most practical, the idea of allowing divine guidance suggests that we should also invite the possibility of being led by something that transcends our immediate perceptions and limitations. It's a recognition that we are not alone in the world and that there is a deeper current, a higher power, or an intuitive wisdom that can help us navigate life's challenges. Divine guidance doesn't have to be a religious concept, though it often is for many. It can be understood in many ways as intuition, as the wisdom of the universe, as spiritual insight, or as the quiet pull we sometimes feel towards certain choices or directions. The key to this practice is allowing space for this guidance to emerge instead of forcing our way through life based solely on our own willpower or what seems immediately achievable. It's about stepping back and trusting that there is a larger plan at work, even if we don't see it clearly. This trust in the unknown is often a shift from the need for certainty, control, or immediate results. When we allow room for divine guidance, we make a conscious decision to stop and listen to the whispers of our inner voice, to signs and synchronicities in the world around us, or to the stillness of prayer or meditation. We create a space where we can be receptive, open, and humble. This practice requires patience, as divine guidance doesn't always arrive in the form of clear, immediate answers. Sometimes it's a subtle nudge or an idea that appears when we least expect it. Other times, it comes through our relationships with others in the form of advice, support, or challenges that seem to appear at the right time. By allowing room for divine guidance, we also surrender some of our control over how things should unfold. In our modern world, we are conditioned to be highly goal-oriented and focused on achieving specific outcomes. We often map out every detail of our lives and try to execute plans with precision. While this is important, there is value in recognizing that sometimes the best course of action isn't the one we have planned, but one that emerges when we open ourselves to guidance beyond our own understanding. This doesn't mean being passive or disengaged from the world. Rather, it means adopting a posture of listening, allowing ourselves to be led when we may not know the exact next step. This act of surrender doesn't come easily for everyone. For many, it can feel vulnerable or unsettling to step away from rigid expectations and embrace the unknown. We fear that we might not get the answers we need or that we will be left to wander aimlessly. However, allowing room for divine guidance requires trust in ourselves, in the universe, or in a higher power. It is a willingness to accept that we do not need to have all the answers right away, and that life's unfolding is part of the greater mystery we are a part of. This trust allows us to move through life with less stress and greater peace, knowing that we are being supported in ways we may not immediately understand. One of the ways to make room for divine guidance is through regular practices of stillness, like meditation or prayer. In these quiet moments, we create a sacred space to listen more deeply to our inner voice, away from the noise of the external world. These moments of solitude allow us to step out of our busy thoughts and into a place where we can feel connected to something larger. In this stillness, we may hear a quiet knowing, or we might receive clarity about a decision that's been weighing on us. It's in these moments that we allow ourselves to be fully present with our lives, where we stop trying to control everything and simply trust that the guidance we need will appear when the time is right. Another way to invite divine guidance is by observing the signs and synchronicities that occur throughout our day. Often we overlook small moments that carry great meaning: a chance encounter, a piece of advice from an unexpected source, or an unexpected opportunity that appears out of nowhere. These may seem like coincidences, but for those who are open to divine guidance, they can be understood as breadcrumbs leading us towards something important. To allow room for divine guidance is to develop an awareness that the universe or a higher power speaks to us in these small, subtle ways. It encourages us to stay alert and attuned to these signals, knowing that they are part of the intricate web that guides our path. Allowing divine guidance doesn't mean that we avoid responsibility or action. It means that we pair our effort with receptivity. It's about making intentional choices and taking steps, but with an open heart and mind, trusting that if we need a shift in direction, we'll be given the information or clarity we need to move forward. This dynamic balance of doing and being of acting with intention while remaining open to divine inspiration can create a sense of flow and alignment in our lives. When we let go of rigid expectations about how things should unfold, we find that the path often opens up in unexpected and beautiful ways. Moreover, inviting divine guidance fosters a deeper sense of connection to the world around us. It reminds us that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, a larger flow of life that is often beyond our ability to fully comprehend. This connection fosters humility, reminding us that we don't have to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders alone. When we open ourselves to divine guidance, we recognize that we don't need to have control over every aspect of our lives. There is peace in knowing that we are guided, supported, and loved in ways we may not see, but can trust in. Living with an openness to divine guidance also invites us to embrace the mystery of life. In a world that often demands concrete answers, we are conditioned to seek certainty and control. However, divine guidance reminds us that life's greatest lessons often come from moments of uncertainty, from spaces where we don't have all the answers. These are the moments where we learn to trust, to grow, and to surrender, and in doing so, we find deeper meaning and connection. To allow room for divine guidance is to acknowledge that we don't walk this path alone. It's a practice of openness, trust, and patience, a commitment to being present with the mysteries of life and allowing ourselves to be led in ways that are far beyond what we could have planned for ourselves. When we make room for this kind of guidance, we open ourselves up to a deeper, more purposeful existence. In conclusion, allowing room for divine guidance is a practice that invites peace, trust, and a deeper connection to something greater than ourselves. It encourages us to shift from the constant striving for control and certainty to a more open, receptive way of living. By setting intentions rather than rigid expectations, grounding ourselves in gratitude, and embracing divine guidance, we create space for clarity, inspiration, and resilience in our lives. These practices help us navigate the complexities of the world with greater ease and less pressure, reminding us that we are supported, guided, and capable of handling whatever life presents. Ultimately, it is through these moments of surrender, trust, and openness that we find a more authentic, fulfilling, and purposeful way of being in the world.